The Xbox Bethesda E3 briefing is now finished, and wow, that was interesting. Now, before we go into the video, I just want to say if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and share. It really helps the channel out. So Microsoft had to pull off the best E3 briefing because of the hype. Not once did anyone at Microsoft ever say lower expectations or contain them. No, they let people run with it. People were hyped. People have been hyped for weeks, and everyone's walked away from this thinking, wow, this was a good show. And the thing that made it good was the content and the pacing. The pacing was just game after game after game. And you know, Microsoft tends to go with the whole games thing, and the thing is, that's what this show was. And I have to put it to Microsoft, like, they came out of this looking really good. It made the Xbox ecosystem look better. And here's the thing. The Xbox is a must-have console for console gamers. It just is. This event blew me away. And the thing is, if you game on PC, these games will be there too. But in the Xbox ecosystem, you have multiple different ways to dive into these games. And all the games shown were fantastic. Now, I'm going to go over a bunch of the games I think were the standouts of the show. And this video is kind of a recap, because I'm just impressed. So yeah, this is a recap and a review. And overall, Microsoft walked away from this show looking really good. The games looked good. And frankly, if you have an Xbox Series X and S, the game's coming over the next 2 years. Absolutely amazing looking. But first up, we have to start with, of course, Halo Infinite. So Halo Infinite got delayed, and we all know why. But the trailer they showed yesterday looked amazing. The campaign footage, Chief, the particle effects, the detail on his armor, the nicks and damage on his suit just look fantastic. And the thing is, it looks like they've actually gone in and added a lot more detail and lighting to the environments. And the thing is, the whole campaign trailer that they showed looked like it was from the beginning of the game, which is pretty cool, because at the end of the day, we still haven't seen much of Halo, and a lot of people tend to forget that. And Master Chief looks pretty much better than ever. These graphics were mind-blowing, and I cannot wait to get my hands on this day one. And this is releasing this fall, and it's going to be an awesome pickup for people. And the thing is, new gameplay elements, such as possible zero-G stuff and the grappling hook. We got to see more of how the grappling hook can be used against objects and weapons in the environment, which is really cool. And we have to talk about multiplayer. We've only seen a few screenshots, and what they showed yesterday looked amazing. It looked like they combined the feel of Reach in 3, but with the movement and pacing of 5. And to me, that's pretty amazing multiplayer. Because to me, Halo 5's multiplayer was amazingly fun. Really fun. The grappling hook, again, being used in multiplayer was good to see. More vehicles, more weapons, just more options in multiplayer, which is always good to see. So Halo had a really, really good showing. Next up, we have Stalker 2. Now, Stalker has always been known to be one of these franchises that pushes PCs to the limit, and it's super immersive. And we got that here. This game's releasing April next year, coming to day one Game Pass. This is probably one of the best looking games I've ever seen, and if you like open world games that are immersive, you're going to have to play this day one. A Plague Tale Requiem. Now, this is the sequel to A Plague Tale Innocence. It's a must-play game. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone. Play it. Absolutely amazing third-person game. Next up, we have Atomic Heart. Now, I've been following this game for 2 years. This game is pretty much like a horror-style Bioshock set in Soviet Russia. And again, it's sci-fi, it's Soviet Russia, and it just looks amazing. Next up, we have a game that was a big standout for me. And of course, I have to talk about this. Back 4 Blood. Now, Back 4 Blood is pretty much the spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead by the creators of Left 4 Dead. And if you've been wanting Left 4 Dead 3 for the past decade, this game is going to be that. It has aim down sight, there's more attachments, there's more weapon options, there's pretty much more options overall. And the thing is, this is coming to Game Pass day one. Now this is huge news because this is a Warner Brothers game, which just goes to show we could see possibly more WB games in the future come to Game Pass day one, which is extremely exciting. Next up, we have Battlefield. Now Battlefield had its full gameplay preview, and look, I've seen people say this looks like more Battlefield, but at the end of the day, when you go to see Battlefield gameplay, you want to see Battlefield gameplay and not cheesecake. And this gameplay was impressive. Battlefield has always been a looker. And when it comes to this franchise, 128 players on console, this is going to be a must-play game for multiplayer people on Xbox Series X and S. And I can't wait for it, and I'll talk more about it towards its release. It looks genuinely, absolutely fantastic. Hades is coming to console. Now the thing is, Hades was rumored to come to Xbox Game Pass months ago, but that was kind of put on the back burner. Now this is a isometric style roguelike. It's coming to Game Pass day one. This is big news because this was one of the biggest games the year it came out, and people will get to play it on Game Pass now. And this will run at 4K 60 frames per second on Xbox Series X, which is cool because again, more games like this running at 4K 60 day one. It's going to be delicious on the eyes. And if you're into these style of games, I highly recommend it. People have been recommending this for years now, and I've seen the making of this title. A lot of hard work on it. This, again, arrives this August, and it's also going to get a physical release in limited areas, I believe. Next up, we have a new IP, Redfall. This is a vampire hunting game co-op, which you can also play in single player, and there's not much known about this at the minute, but it is Arcane, and if you've played Arcane's games before, you know they're detailed, you know you have tons of gameplay options, and it should be a good time. Again, Arcane know what they do when it comes to super immersive worlds, and the fact that this is going to be a vampire slash demon hunting game, it's just an interesting prospect. And frankly, I think I'll be playing it day one. Next up, we have Replace, this 2D style game, and this is one of the most interesting games shown there, and even the story itself sounds super interesting. Set 40 years after nuclear explosion, Phoenix City is now ruled by corruption and greed, and human organs have become nothing more than currency. Now that sounds fantastic. It's a 2D platformer with 3D elements, and again, it's got synthwave, cyberpunk stuff. It's got everything games need. Forza Horizon 5. Now, Mexico in this game is absolutely beautiful, and it's coming out this November. This is one of the best looking games I've ever seen. Forza Horizon is always a good looking game, but this still somehow blows 4 out the water. Somehow. And something they said in the gameplay demo is that all the other cars you see while playing the game are other players, which means they aren't driver cars, which is interesting. Now, one of the interesting games that they showed off was by Avalanche Studios, and a new Xbox Game Studios partner game was Contraband. Now, not much is known about this game, but the fact that it's a co-op heist slash smuggling game where you have to plan things out like smuggles and heists, and just the fact that this is like a prospect of the game, it sounds really interesting. We don't have a lot of games like this, and it seems like they're going to take elements of Payday and GTA and mix them together with the Avalanche twist. This is also going to be using the next gen Just Cause engine, which is really cool because if you've played those games before, it's crazy, and there should be some destructible stuff in the environment as well, like previous Just Cause games. I'm a fan of Avalanche Studios. If you want crazy open world games, this is going to be more of that, but with a little bit of smuggling in between, and we should see more about this later this year, I believe. Again, Avalanche Studios make action-packed games. This will be a must-play, day one, Xbox Game Pass. Now, The Outer Worlds 2 had a standout trailer with humour, and it was very on the nose for what it was, because it was a CGI trailer. It was very self-aware. They pretty much went into detail and the kind of tropes you have with trailer reveals and video game reveals, and it was on the nose and it works. This game is far out. It didn't even get a year, but again, I wouldn't be surprised if it isn't that too far out. And the thing is, the first game was made with a relatively small team, so with the sequel, there's more people working on it. Again, If you're a sci-fi fan, if you're an RPG fan, play the first game, you'll love it. Play the DLC, and you should be excited for the sequel. Again, this is going to be running on Unreal Engine 5, I believe, which will be big for the game, because the first game looked good. This is just going to look even better, which is fantastic. Outer Worlds 2, Day 1, Xbox Game Pass. Starfield. Starfield has been elusive for the longest time, and what they showed looked fantastic. That was in-engine, in the new Creation engine. Todd Howard came out and said that this is their new biggest game in 25 years, because this is Skyrim in space. And that's all they need to say. Skyrim is one of the biggest games ever made when it comes to popularity and sales and stuff. And the thing is, people looked at this game, people have been salivating at seeing more of this game for ages. It's coming out next year, which is awesome. Again, big open world, space exploration, sci-fi RPG. It's got everything gaming needs. And frankly, even though they opened up the show with this, I was impressed. The whole show was good. You know, they had many games announced. There was 30 games shown, 27 of which coming to Game Pass. And the thing about Game Pass, they've made Game Pass a must. They have done for a while. And just all these games going in day one, like, it's literally a must-have service. When it comes to subscriptions, I look at Disney Plus, I look at Netflix, and I look at Game Pass. These are must-have services, and just the amount of games you're getting are ridiculous. And the thing is, if you don't have Game Pass, you're essentially losing money. That's what it comes down to the minute. Microsoft did a bang-up job of the show. This was their best E3 yet. After I was on Xbox 448's live reaction show, I gave the show a 8.8, but I want to take that back. I'm going to give this a 9.5. The pacing, the game shown, I'm pleased as a gamer, and this event left me with one word about Xbox: excitement. Excitement for the future of Xbox, far out and soon. And it's a good time to be an Xbox gamer. It's a good time to be a gamer in general, but if you're an Xbox gamer, the games are coming. This game's coming soon. The games are coming to Game Pass. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please hit like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications. I'll have another video out soon. Let me know in the description what you enjoyed about E3, and I'll have more videos coming out soon about E3 as well. Anyway, I'm out. I hope everyone has a good day. Peace.